Hey there, good afternoon. Happy Friday to you and Happy New Year as well. I am Sean Richard and welcome to SRT Live with me. And I'm excited to be here with you on this first Friday of the new year. It's going to be an amazing next 20, 30 minutes or so. And I'm excited to bring some amazing content to you. So this year, 2022, um, I know for me, it's an important year to really focus on my business, focus on the number of people that I'm able to serve and do more, not only for myself, my family, my clients, my partners here in the real estate industry. And so that's my focus for this year. But as part of that focus, doing more for my partners, I want to provide you more knowledge, more information to be able to crush your goals in 2022. So if you're here, that is what you're all about as well. You're looking to do the same. Now, I'm going to start today's presentation off with a hard-hitting question, and this is something that I feel like I know I've asked myself this, and if you're watching, I think it's important for each of you to ask this same question of yourself. So we're all in the real estate space. Do you want a real estate job or do you want to build a real estate business? Legit question, because some of you out there may be watching this and say, well, Sean, I do real estate. I make good money. I'm good. I'm happy. Everything's fantastic. And if that's the case, then that's awesome. Kudos to you. Excited that you are where you want to be in this space. For those of you that are not where you want to be, and whether that's you're having a ton of success, but you want more, or whether that's maybe you're new to the industry and you haven't quite started making traction on success. If you want to build this business, because ultimately we're all self-employed here, right? If you want to build this business, you've got to treat it like a business. And so I want to help with your mindset today to help you have that mentality so that way you can grow, you can thrive, and create an amazing business and life, not only for yourself, but for potential future teammates, for potential future staff, your family. I want it all for you as well. So if that is your mentality, you're in the right place because we're going to talk about some really cool stuff today. So thanks so much for joining me. All right. So I'm going to be checking over on my screen to the my right here for any comments, questions as we work through the presentation. So feel free to drop a comment and let me know you're here, or if you have a question, drop it in there. I'll be checking that periodically and do my best to answer as much as I can. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up any current comments and see where we're at. All right. All right. So let's get into it. So today's presentation is knowing your numbers. Really, really important because, there we go, really important because knowing your numbers are how you're going to grow. If you don't know where you've been, if you don't know where you're at, if you don't know where you're going, how can you create a plan? How can you know how you're going to get there? And knowing your numbers is the way that you're going to do that. So what is the biggest difference? And there's several differences, but what is the biggest difference between producing real estate agents and non-producing real estate agents, high producers and low producers? Well, the number one answer is that top producing real estate agents know their numbers inside and out. They know what their numbers are. They know what numbers need to look like, and that way they can create action plans around them. So it allows them to take strategic action towards accomplishing those goals. And that's what's so important, is because you need to be able to take strategic action. Action by itself doesn't get you there. You've got to take strategic action, or better said, you've got to take intentional action. Now, my apparently my window has decided to let in all the light. So I'm actually going to say, hang tight just a second. Let me jump back there and get that close. So that way this isn't quite as bright, although you can see me just fine. That ominous glow in the background, not necessarily working for everybody. So hang tight. All right. Thanks so much for staying with me through that. That was a little crazy. All of a sudden, it just got unbelievably bright in here. So how do we focus on our numbers? Well, first we've got to focus on our goals. So I would hope that all of you, or at least many of you, have goals for this year, for 2022. So if you're watching this live, and you're willing to share with me your 2022 goals. This could be an income goal. This could be a transaction quantity goal. This could be, if you tend to track volume, this could be a volume goal. So share with me your goals and let me know what you want to do, where you want to get to in 2022. And then, so my follow-up question to that is, do you know what you specifically need to do to achieve those goals? And I mean specifically, what exactly do you need to do? What actions do you need to take? What strategies do you need to put into place to get you to those goals in 2022? Now, if your answer is, well, I need to get more buyers, I need to get more sellers, that's great. But the key is, I need to get more. What does more mean? Does one more get you there? Does 10 more get you there? Does 500 more get you there? And so you kind of see what I'm getting at here is without knowing the specifics of your numbers, it's really just a generic point off in the distance. Oh well, I kind of want to get over there. That's like pointing to a place on a map and saying, okay, I want to go here, but I'm not looking at any of the roads and how to get there. I just know I want to get there. And so if I go in that general direction, yeah, maybe I'll get there. And that sounds great, but let me give you a great analogy here. So you may have heard this before, but so when an airplane takes off, let's say an airplane's flying from LA to Boston, okay, LA to Boston. Well, if the nose of that plane, there we go, the nose of that plane is off by just 1 degree, that plane doesn't land in New York anymore. It lands in Washington, D.C. Because that 1 degree difference at takeoff, compounded over thousands of miles, puts that plane in a completely different destination. So think about that, absorb that for a minute. If you're faced just the slightest bit off course, you could end up in a completely different direction. So understanding how to get to your goal, having a direct path, is going to be important. All right, so we've shared our goals, we've jotted them down. Okay, so I'm going to throw another term out there. Some of you may know this. How many of you know what the Pareto's principle is? Pareto's principle. Think about it. Most of you actually know this. Maybe not by this name, but most of you actually know this. So Pareto's principle. Well, how about if I told you, how many of you know the 80-20 rule? Yep, everybody should be invisibly or through the internet raising their hands. So the 80-20 rule, everybody knows this. That is Pareto's principle. Now, a lot of times we hear this in industries, right? Oh, well, 80% of the people do 20% of the work, and 20% of the people do 80% of the work. And that is correct. 20% of the people, typically in most industries, most companies, most businesses, do 80% of the work, and vice versa. So let's make that a little bit more micro though, and apply it to your business. So in your business, 20% of the activities that you do generate 80% of your results, or 80% of your income, 80% of your commissions. And so if that's the case, why are you doing that other 80%? Like if 80% of what you're doing is only generating 20% of your results, then the goal is how do we flip that? how do we put yourself in a position where 80% of your time is spent doing the critical core money-making activities instead of 20% of your time generating 80% of your revenue, okay? So we're gonna pause right now and let's make a list, okay? Let's make a list of all of the activities that you do on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. And I'll see if I have something here that I can jot on, so that way I can do this right along with you. So we're going to write down here, I'm gonna make a list right along with you. So that way we can do this together. So what do you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in your business? All like it could be the biggest of things, it could be the smallest of things. So let's talk about it. Let's see. So you probably respond to emails, right? Okay, let's jot that down. Emails. Okay, phone calls, obviously. So you make and receive phone calls. How about text messages? Text messages. Okay. You probably write contracts, right? Write contracts. And let's see, you show buyers homes, right? Show homes. And you do listing appointments. Maybe some of you are buyer's agents and you don't do a whole lot of listing appointments, and that's okay. And some of you are listing agents and you don't do a whole lot of buyer showings, and that's okay too. So listing appointments. Okay. All right. What else do you do? All right. You negotiate contracts. So not only do you write contracts, so you negotiate contracts. Got to spend time doing that. Negotiate contracts. Okay, what else? You attend. Some of you attend inspections, the home inspection, right? So attend inspections. Okay. How about attend closings? You do that. Attend closings. You update your CRM, your database. Okay. Whoa, Sean. Whoa. Like, wait, I need a database? Yeah. Okay. So some of you update your database. Some of you just still have an Excel spreadsheet and you go in and you punch around in your little cells, and that's okay. Get a CRM. We're gonna do a coaching, a business building Friday on CRMs. Don't worry. So update CRM. Okay. Awesome. You follow up with leads. You do a million other things. So I want you to create a list. Okay. So I've made just a very basic list here, right there. Okay. There's a million other things. Okay. So again, this list, we're making a list of all of the things that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so I have a very short list. You're going to have a much longer list because I want you to list everything. Doesn't matter how minute, it doesn't matter how big. I want you to list every single thing that you can think of that you do on a daily, weekly, monthly basis for your business. Okay. So I want you to make that list and we're going to look it over. Okay. And so we're going to come back to this here in just a minute. So we're going to move on for a moment and we're going to talk about the value that you bring to your business. And that's critical, right? Like, are you valuable? And I would hope the answer is yes, right? So are you valuable? So the question that I want you to answer is, okay, well, how valuable are you? Can you answer that question? Do you know how valuable? Oh, Sean, I'm really, really valuable. Awesome. What does that mean? Right? So let's talk about your value because we can figure this out. So here's what I'd like you to do. So earlier I talked about your goals. And if you gave me an income goal, that's fantastic. If you were thinking of an income goal, that's great. So let's look at your value from a dollars and cents standpoint. I'd like you to take your one of two things, either A, your 2021 your income for the year, or I'd like for you to take your 2022 income goal. Okay, one of these two things. And we're going to take that amount, that dollar amount, and we're going to divide it. We're going to do a very, very basic version of this, but we're going to divide it by 2080. And so 2080 is 40 hours a week times 52 weeks a year. Now you're probably going to take some time off and we could play around with those numbers, but for the most part, we want to keep this pretty simple. We want to make this easy for you. So you're either your 2021 annual income or your 2022 income goal. And we're going to divide that by 2080. And that's total hours in a full-time work week over the course of 52 weeks. Awesome. All right. So take a look at what you got. That's your hourly rate. That's how much you make per hour to do your business. Okay. Now, some of you may be looking at a number like, whew, I'm rich. And then other of you may look at that like, oh, okay, well, it's better than McDonald's, but I could use a pay raise. And so wherever you are in that spectrum, that's the worth that you currently bring to the business. Now, how many of you want to raise? Right? How many of you want to increase your hourly rate, your worth? I know I constantly do. So here's what we need to do. Let's go back to that list we made, okay? Let's go back to that list we made right there, okay? All right, and let's go through this, okay? So let's say that you did the math and you're worth $50 an hour, okay? Cool beans, 50 bucks an hour. Emails, would you pay someone $50 an hour just to respond to emails all day long? How about phone calls? Would you pay somebody $50 an hour? Would you hire somebody? Indeed, all the other job sites, Wisehire, all those. Would you go out? Would you find and pay somebody $50 an hour to return and make phone calls? How about text messages? How about physically writing contracts, like filling them in? Administrative type work. Would you? So look at everything on this list. Hey, and we could add some marketing stuff on here, right? So let's add, maybe you do podcasts like this, right? Podcasts for your clients. Maybe you do marketing videos, right? Let's add some things to this list. All right, and let's do one more thing. Let's do, maybe you do a radio show or something like that. Okay. All right, so we add some over here. We're adding to, or over here. Okay, so we're adding to that. All right, so you've got your list. Hopefully, you made your list. Okay, of everything on this list, how many of these things would you pay somebody $50 an hour? Look at what your hourly rate is. How many of these things would you pay somebody, bring them onto your team, and pay them $50 an hour or your hourly worth to do these actions? And if you're like me, that answer is going to be, well, maybe one or two of them, right? But if these are activities that are below your pay grade, why are you doing them? Because every activity that you spend, every $10 activity that you spend time on, you are actually losing $40. You could be paying somebody $10 an hour, maybe 15. And then that same hour, you could go out and you could make $50. So if I showed up at your door, I knocked on your door, right? Knocked on your door, and I said, hey, I'm here to give you $50. However, the catch is you've got to give me $10 first. Would you make that trade? Would you give me $10 if I returned $50 to you? Of course you would, every day, 5 times on Sunday. And so I want you to think about that as you're going over this list. So I want you to take time to make an exhaustive list. Make a full-blown list of all of the activities that you do. And I want you to go through that list and say, would I pay somebody what my hourly rate to do these things? And then single out all the ones that the answer is yes, that you would pay somebody that much. Those are the activities that you should be doing. Those are the money-making activities. And we need to get somebody else to do the other ones. And hit me up. You've got my contact information right here. You want to talk more about what that looks like, how to go about that, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me an email, let me know. And my email is just SeanRichardTeam@rate.com or Sean.Richard@rate.com. Either one of those works just fine. But reach out, let me know. Happy to sit down one-on-one and dive a little bit deeper specifically for your business. Love to do that for you. Okay, so let's keep going. Right. So we know you wouldn't pay somebody what you make to do a lot of those items, and that's pretty clear. But I want you to recognize, I want you to realize that. Going back to your production, understanding where, how you're going to get to your goal. Do you know your average transaction size? Do you know how many transactions you did last year? What percentage were buy side? What percentage were, list side? Do you know those numbers? Do you know where your business came from? Was it past clients? Was it business referral sources? Was it social media? Was it your sphere of influence, your circle of influence, friends, family, things like that? Where did your business come from? Do you know the answer to these questions? And if you don't, that's okay. I'm not here to berate or to judge, but I am here to say, take time to understand these things. If 70% of your business were coming from social media, would you want to spend a ton of your time with your business referral partners, or would you want to spend the majority of your time on social media because it's working, it's bringing in the business? That's why you want to understand where your business is coming from, because you can put your focus, your time, your actions, and your strategies into place in the areas of your business that are bringing in the best results. You don't want to spend 80% of your time on 20% on activities on areas of your business that are only generating 20% of your business. So understand where your business is coming from. It's going to be important. Now, I want to show you something before we wrap up today. And I've had this built, and I want to pull this up for you. Let me share it. It's coming. And that works. Cool. All right. So I've had this. We worked with a partner of mine, and we put this together. So this is the real estate annual goals worksheet. I want you to be able to be as successful as possible, and as successful as you want to be in 2022. And so put this together. Reach out to me. Let me know if you would like a copy of this. I'm going to go over this with you real quick. I'm going to go fast. So we've got step one. We need to understand your goal. You need to understand your goal. How do we get there? What goals do you want? Is it an income goal? Is it a commission goal? Is it a transaction goal? Income is usually easiest because you can work backwards and figure out the rest. Okay, so here, let's do this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Boom. What's your goal? Okay. All right. Step one, figure out your goal. Okay. Step two, we need to figure out what your gross commission is. We need to understand what numbers that we're working with. Again, know your numbers. We need to understand these things. Now, it's not all sunshine and roses. It's not all income and no expenses. So you've got that section down there on the right-hand side in the bottom. We need to make sure that we're accounting for expenses. We need to make sure that we account for Uncle Sam. He takes, a little bit as well. So we need to make sure that we account for that. Then once we know how much we're looking to make, then we can understand, okay, well, now how many transactions do we need to close? And obviously we can split that between buy side and sell side transactions, but how many deals do you need to close in order to hit your goal? But let's break it down even further, because really what we're looking for here is we're looking for the lowest common denominator. And so here's our lowest common denominator. How many leads do you need, right? Can you control when you get a new buyer or a new seller? Do you have control in any capacity on what their price point is? Right? If you pick up a listing for $250,000, can you magically make that a $450,000 listing? Well, maybe in some markets, and we're quickly getting there. But this isn't California, this isn't New York, right? So I don't know that we can stretch a $250,000 home that high. But in general, we don't have control over the price point, right? If you get a new buyer lead, if they can only afford $300,000, you can't magically put them in a $500,000 home. So the point is we need to break these numbers down to the lowest common denominator, because that's what we have control over. So how many leads do I need, right? Leads is something you have more control over because now you can take specific actions to accomplish the number of leads that you need to obtain. So how many leads do I need? Okay. And then we break that down, buyer side, listing side, to understand how many we need. But notice here, you've got your success rate. You don't win every buyer. You don't win every listing appointment, or from listing appointments. You don't win every listing. So we need to account for your success rate. So here you can use your historic numbers if you've been in the business for a little bit and you have tracked that, or you can go back and look up some numbers. And you need to understand your success rate. So you can say, okay, well, if I do 10 listing appointments, I'm going to win 8 of them, or I'm going to win 5 of them, or I only win 2 of them. Okay. You need to understand your success rate so that way you can know how many leads that you're going to need. Because if you win 50% of your appointments, whether it's listing or buy side, and your goal is you need 20 leads to choose you, that means you've got to do 40 leads to win 20 to hit the numbers that you need to do. So we want to understand that as well. Okay. Finally, last but not least, plan of attack. All right, so we've got all of our numbers from this worksheet. Now we can take these numbers and we can put them into a business plan, a strategy to help accomplish them. And that's where we want to be. And I can help with that as well. And next week, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that. So next week, join me again. It should be 2 o'clock as well. Let me know in the comments below if you like the 2 o'clock time slot. I'm going to be doing these every Friday, and if I need to move the time, so that way you can have it a little bit easier opportunity to get in, watch this, and get on with the rest of your day. So let me know what time works best for you. But 2 o'clock is when I've got this scheduled at the moment. Happy to revise that or amend that a little bit. So next week, I'm going to be talking about ATMs because they dispense cash. And who doesn't want cash? I want cash, you want cash. No, but no, in all seriousness, I will be talking about ATMs, and the ones that I'll be talking about do also dispense cash. But what I'm talking about is actions that matter. ATMs, actions that matter. And so these are going to be key activities that are business generating, money making activities. So I talked about that 20% of your activities result in 80% of your results. Well, next week we're going to talk about, okay, what are you doing in that 20% of your activities? We're going to talk about those. And those activities are called actions that matter. And we're going to be talking about that. So ATMs next week. Join me next Friday at 2 o'clock. We're going to be going over actions that matter. Until then, don't forget, you've got my contact information below. If you'd like a copy of the, let's do this, the Real Estate Agent Annual Goals Worksheet, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Got all my contact information right there. You can email me, give me a call, shoot me a text. You've also got there's my cell phone right there. Reach out to me. Let me know if you want to get together. We can go over the goals worksheet, do a little bit of deep dive into your specific business because I want to help you do more in 2022. So thank you so much for joining me. Have an incredible weekend. And again, Happy New Year to you. Signing off for SRT Live, I'm Sean Richard. See you again next week. Take care.